And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up this weekend, I'll be talking about Gamescom and more. My good friend TJ Johnson, along with other great stuff that we're going to be talking about, so go ahead and check that out. Plus, also as well, Inside Sports Fantasy Football returns this week. Chris has said tomorrow night it's going to happen live on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel. So we will talk fantasy football. Maybe Joe will even join us, but that's up to his busy schedule. So we will be back talking about what you need to do, who's trending in the draft, and if you keep having problems year in and year out, maybe you should look at the draft in a different way. We'll talk about that coming up as well. But I want to go ahead and, before we give our kudos to everyone else that is a great friend of the show, want to go ahead and give our best, hellos and thank yous to our new members. That's right. YouTube has been asking me nonstop, each and every day, nagging and whining. Hey, would be great if you guys did some membership programs. Would be awesome if you did a membership program. Would be kind of cool if you did a membership program. So guess what? I started a membership program for $2.99 a month. Emojis, badges, and callouts are part of the $2.99 a month program. And first up, our first member is none other than Xbox. So you get the first shout out as our rookie member, part of our membership program. Truly cannot thank you enough for your support, Xbox, all the way out in Australia. If you want to be a member, it's in the description, or just head on over to where it says memberships on your YouTube page, and you'll be able to go ahead and sign up for $2.99 a month. Great value. Being a part of a member, being a member of what we do each and every time out. We may add more tiers in the future. I still think Joe needs to do one on his own, giving you exclusive Jonas, but that's up to him. So if you want more membership tiers and what you would like on it, please let us know. But for now, $2.99 a month. Emojis, badges, and of course, a big shout out from all of us here at the Lakers Fast Break. Big shout out to you, Xbox. Plus also our good friends, John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. I don't know if he's going to make it tonight, but he says he's going to be streaming tomorrow. If you are going to go ahead and catch that, just want to let you know. Plus also the Lakerholics crew. Hopefully they will be back this weekend. They haven't let me know yet. But I will try to also be back on Friday for a show with the Legend 350. Our good friend also as well, Stone Hansen. He's at report_court. John McCalian channel, Lakers in 5, Empire Jeff TV. All these great channels you need to support. And if you can, please support us with the like and subscribe. We're trying to get to the big time. And only we can do that without your help right here. The Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Well, speaking of podcasts and shows, one of the things I get every single day is from my good friends at FeedSpot Today, which we are in their top 10 Lakers shows. And thank you, FeedSpot, for saying we're one of the top 10 Lakers shows that's out there. Truly appreciate that. But it's funny because I get a daily report on Lakers shows that are dropped into the atmosphere, into the podsphere. And it's funny because lately, these shows, which most have been very much roses and flowers, always to the Lakers, always giving you that shiny, happy, positive outlook on life, kind of start turning, and saying some of the things that we've been saying here for months about being realistic about the Lakers' chances as of now. And also what's upcoming for this season, unless something changes. So it's interesting because you see the titles, the descriptions, and what they're also talking about on these shows. And for instance, Locked On Lakers says ESPN, other media experts predicting the Lakers to stumble this season. Too much negativity? Hmm. Laker film room. The Vando dilemma. Hmm. Kind of a problem or issue there. Talking about Vando and some of the things that we've been saying all along about the good and the bad that Jared Vanderbilt has brought to the Lakers. And then, of course, Silver Screen and Roll, part of SB Nation. Austin Reeves underwhelmed last year. That can't happen again. Even the shiniest, happiest podcast for the Lakers, always up, the always optimistic Lakers Nation is even putting question marks when it comes to Lakers are contenders. Question mark. Hmm. Hmm. Do you think that they've come to the realization that we have that it's going to be an uphill climb for the Lakers this season? And here today to discuss these possible changing attitudes towards the dark side of the force is our Emperor Palpatine. Indeed, it is a man known with a very shaky camera. You doing okay, man, out there? It's got an earthquake?
What?
Oh, your camera was shaking. So I
You
don't
want
know.
to slap too?
I don't know. If you want to slap yourself, that's fine. But I'm just saying it was shaking. Looked like those might be a little earthquake, a little
Still
there.
typing.
Okay, well, type on the camera looked like. But of course, it is our own Emperor Palpatine. Yes, yes. Good,
Mind your
good.
business.
Yes. Have you heard the story of Darth Plagueis? But anyways, it
The
is our
wise?
own Emperor Palpatine. Of course, it is, of course, the man behind Oxide 247 at LakersBall.com. And of course, Big Papa Pump himself. He's got the stuff right there for you. It is, of course, Joe Soro. And Joe, great to have you here. Darren has got our membership right there with a $20. Thank you so much. Very kind of you, Darren. Truly appreciate all your support and love over the years. We may have gotten back and forth, but there's no question your devotion to this channel is greatly appreciated. Joe, it's interesting to see the tenor change on the Lakers with all these other shows. They're getting to be more and more, in our realm, because for months now, we've been talking about not necessarily doom and gloom, but realistically where the Lakers are, where they stand, and what happens when you don't make any real moves to help this team out. It's funny how the Lakers shows were always trying to paint a pretty picture out of something that couldn't be done when they really, if you're talking about in an artistic value, didn't have the paint, didn't have the pastels, didn't have the equipment to make a pretty picture of out of what is upcoming for the Lakers possibly this season.
I want to address something first.
Mm-hmm.
The support that we have in our little community
Mm-hmm.
has changed my thought process of the future. Now, I always felt that we were going to continue to do this and prosper. But I feel like I've felt more in the last few months. So if there's a positivity towards what's happened in the last few months, positivity is there's an audience that wants to watch us and listen to our opinions and our actions. And we may not be fully arsenaled, if you will, but we will. We will be ammoed at some point, and this will be the standard. Whether these shows know we exist or not is irrelevant, because in the end, they will know us eventually. And how that plays out is something that goes back and forth in my head. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know if we're going to be the nuisance. I don't believe we will be, because when the Lakers play well and the organization is making smart business decisions, there's going to be support there. There isn't going to be a show about us finding the little things that we don't like. I don't do that. We didn't go full bore on this negativity. It's not negativity. It's just what we've seen.
That's what Locked On Lakers is calling it.
Till this year. See, and that's the problem, folks. A lot of people that use the word literally, when you listen to how they pronounce that, we literally went outside. We literally had a rainstorm in the house. No, you didn't literally have a rainstorm in the house because that's not possible. So it's the same thing here. People create their own language when it's not true. We are not negative. Again, we have receipts for this. If you go back this time last year, we were very supportive of Rob Pelinka. We've been supportive of Rob Pelinka picking Taylor Horton Tucker over Alex Caruso. I at least was. I have tried to support this regime as much as I can. But here's the issue, folks. At some point, when you keep supporting the inability to perform, when does it end? Well, it ended this offseason. Because we kind of had a little bit of a rift with Mr. Pelinka already. We didn't like how he kind of came off, and there's this aura of BS around him. But I guess we live in a world where you have to somewhat deal with that. You can't have the perfect guy. But at this point, he's not only a nuisance in those departments, he's been a nuisance in basketball operations, and his admittance to the fact that he's incapable of doing anything. Point taken from his press conference when they were introducing JJ Redick as the coach. His first lines were, it's very hard to do this job now because of the system. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's what happened. And that is a sign of a incompetent in his position.
And he got the hook up there. Holler
and
if
he is
can.
Incompetent. And I want this to resonate hopefully in the future. Mm-hmm. If and we already know what kind of people Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka are. They're much like how most people are. When they're criticized, they go into their little snail shell, and then they tell the world, the minions, the people that kiss their ass because they want their money, to make sure these people don't exist. They're censored type people. They don't go into the fire. They don't come back and say, you know what, you were right. We did stink. Or that's what they say. We got to do better. They're not that kind of person. They're the ones that run home, go talk to their dogs, because apparently their dogs are all loyal, and go clean their crap in the backyard. That's their therapy. I don't know. I've never really gotten that lifestyle, but that's what it looks like. And I only know this because she plasters it all over social media. I'm here trying to figure out how the owner of the Lakers is going to help Lakers, yet I'm seeing Jay Moore playing beta man with a bunch of freaking canines with this supposed owner of the LA Lakers.
And then the owner of the LA Lakers is more concerned about popping up a 24/7 channel. Was it on Roku for her women of wrestling? I forget which.
Yes.
That's what she was more worried about promoting here in recent weeks.
I really
Comic-Con.
I really love the what's the word I'm looking for without having Gerald.
Not sure it was on Roku or was on one of the other.
I don't really consider Roku a real anything. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna ever have it. But this culture, and it's probably always been there. It's just we know more about it now. This culture of I don't even know what to call it. What do you call a movement? That's not I don't want to call it a movement. I want to call it a support system type culture. Like everything is, let's go, girls. Let's support each other and let's do it together. That kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just harping on Jeannie. I have family members that are all into that crap. I'm trying to understand something. What does this do for you? Is it just so you can pump yourself up? Where does it go? Where does it go? I am woman, hear me roar. Roar where? What exactly are you doing that's so great? I want to know. You have ownership of one of the greatest franchises that's ever existed. Why are we talking about wrestling? I'd like to know. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because it's just more evidence on why things are run the way they are. We're talking about wrestling and we're talking about dogs. And you wonder why this team can't make a business transaction to help the team in terms of talent.
But what I ask you,
And that's propaganda. But again, I didn't want to use the word propaganda because Gerald tends to think everything's about politics. I'm not about that. I'm about what I'm seeing. And you brought up a topic that says she's doing some kind of program that has nothing to do with the Lakers. Well, honey, if you want to go do that stuff, it's a free country. You can do whatever you want. But can you put somebody in that position to do, help? There's plenty of absentee owners in sports. Can you throw us a bone and put somebody in there that knows what the hell they're doing, that has the respect of other GMs in the league, that has the respect of 40, 50-year NBA alumni? Who respects this team? They treated Jerry West, the greatest Laker, arguably, like complete garbage. You don't think the people that know Jerry West, you don't think they look at that and go, what the hell is this? So the negativity, you can look at it as negative, but it's not. It's a rave review. And it needs to be repeated, folks. It needs to be talked about more, whether it's the slow times, whether it's the heavy times, unless they win. The winning is going to cure all this. And then we'll have pie in our face. But we have been supportive, and we've gotten pie in our face. So this time, I don't want to have pie in my face and also be all optimistic when it's not working. Okay, you guys did not improve the talent on this team. You all think that a coach who's never coached in the NBA in any level or at any position all of a sudden is going to make a difference in a championship run. Well, we're going to sit here and watch and see if that's true, but it doesn't look good.
Darren asked me, Gerald, why are you so glum? Because, well, I flipped it over to some of these other shows, Laker shows that are out there, Joe, and you just look at some of the titles and descriptions, and they are starting to understand and come around to the way we've been talking about all along. And once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with me, Gerald Glassford. And I can't help but be glum right now when I look at all these other channels and they talk about question mark, question mark, question mark, negativity, negativity, negativity. All these shows are starting to mention dilemma, problem. Who could do this? Who can do that? I don't see the kind of optimism that these shows once delivered. And even though I don't listen to many of them anymore, I listen to more NBA centric shows. They're more realistic on the Lakers, similar to what we are in the fact that they understand that the Lakers, even with a healthy LeBron and AD, just don't have a roster that can compete at the top of the Western Conference as of now. And it's just a cold, hard fact. I don't know where you would want to put them, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, wherever you want to. It's still not where we want this team to be, Joe. And it's a cold, hard fact of life. We've been talking about this ever since the Lakers got eliminated. They needed to make some changes. The opportunities you and I saw were there to do so, and they just, Rob and the staff didn't get it done.
So Jeremy has, look, folks, I rely on Gerald much like I rely on Stone Hansen to do things I don't have time to do. So Gerald will scope out the competition that's kind of helps us in terms of knowing what's around us, because I refuse to on that one. Stone helps us obviously with the focus on talent and its execution, young, old, whatever. And I'm curious. Jeremy had mentioned that he's seen some flack that Trevor Lane has gotten for being very clickbaity. And the reason why this show isn't sitting at 100,000 subs is there is a hierarchy that gets those numbers that's not discussed. Everything we've done is organic. Everything we do is real. And I refuse to be a part of any clickbaits. I will not clickbait, and I will not cower down to any kind of censorship in terms of, oh, well, you need to be talking about this, which is probably why we're not on a radio show or anything like that. I had my chance almost 20 years ago to do radio, but I knew radio producers were difficult to work with, and I knew I wouldn't last. Plus, the money was terrible. I was making more money doing what I was doing than doing any kind of radio show. Now, I could have, paid my dues and did all that, but I prefer to have money and control over my life. If I had to trade one or the other for it, then I'd be like, okay, I'll sacrifice a little bit for one or the other, but not both.
Thank you, Sports Baby. Truly
Thanks, Vaughn. Appreciate it. We are. I've said this in numerous times. If you all want us to do the show, as long as I'm alive, I will do the show. There will be a time where there will be some resources infused in this, and I believe it'll be very, very soon too, because there's some stuff that's gone on here recently. While we've been gone, I've been gone and I've been working, and there's been a lot of good things that have happened actually. And the time that we haven't been doing the show, because I don't remember this much of a lull since being on the show. I don't remember since 2021 when I started being on here regularly. I don't remember this kind of a gap. We've been pretty consistent almost daily within the last 3 years, at least since I've been here. This last few weeks, it's probably the most missed shows I think I've been involved in.
JSJ, that's what they do though. That channel, again, that's who they are. That's what they want to do. That's what they get, and I can't fault them because they have 10,000 plus subscribers and they get on occasion a lot of views, but it is what it is. They know they're being clickbaity, and that's just who they are, and more power to them. If that's the way they want to go, that's the way they want to go. I will have sometimes some, slightly clickbaity JPEGs or descriptions, whatnot. But for the most part, I think we're pretty straightforward. And then you come onto the show and we tell you, if we think the Lakers suck, we think the Lakers suck. If we think they're good, we think they're good. It's all on video. It's all on the internet. It's all out there. We can't run from it. So we're just, again, I can't go and each and every day, I could do 7 shows a week, but what would the shows be about? About this person on this team, on this roster being the next Laker, or this person, this individual running the team next? This is all misleading, and this is all just hearsay, and this is all just stuff made out of thin air. I can't do that. It's just not what I would want to listen to if I was going to show. It's just not what I want to go ahead and do. If that's your deal, that's your deal. But I can't do it. I can't do it. And if you guys hopefully will sub with us, it's because we're here for what we do, and we do some real talk here. Okay. Your turn. Go ahead.
I think everyone knows who we are. I don't think we need to.
Well, Darren, Laker Tom is different because I think everybody just laughs at him and passes off. Oh, it's Laker Tom. It's like, oh, that's so cute, Laker Tom. You have that unrealistic trade. And, I will call him out on the air for it. And it's all ha, 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 until behind the scenes he gets mad at us and calls us names. And we still, ha, 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 ha. That's a great joke, Laker Tom. And you can see him on his Twitter whenever he puts out one of those crazy Laker trades of his. People just go off on him and all that. I get it from his standpoint. Part of it's because he just wants to sensationalize and get out there, but part of it's because he is in his, is he 79 or 80? But he understands his time may be shorter, so he wants the Lakers to win now and is willing to do anything to do it. So I get from his perspective, but from us, I can't do it. I can't do it unless I'm making fun of it. If I'm satirizing it, if Joe and I said, hey, let's do a show on all these crazy Laker trades and rip them apart, then that's different. But yeah, I'm just not into the clickbaity scene, Joe, for the most part.
Much like today's lawsuit that was dismissed, I prefer to dismiss these things.
The Disney one?
No. I didn't know what I didn't know about the Disney one.
Disney earlier this week had as far as because somebody I guess I think Orlando, their wife.
The person who passed away, and then the Disney Plus thing.
Yeah, and then Disney yesterday said, you know what, we didn't mean that. We're just going to go.
Yeah, that was my buddy who's a lawyer said that was a lawyer thing that got thrown in there because they knew they could get billable hours from it.
Yeah, but it's from PR standpoint.
Even Disney's lawyers are siphoning Disney's money.
Yeah, from a PR standpoint,
I was talking about the Dwight Howard guy.
Oh, the Dwight Howard. Oh, yeah, Dwight Howard, his sexual assault trial.
I thought some of the details of what the quotes from his lawyer. I thought they were pretty gnarly.
Jeremy, it's solid, but I think I'm going to wait until it hits digital. Personally, I'm not a huge Alien fan. I'm an okay Alien fan. I've seen 4 of the films, and after Alien and Aliens, I think it really gets kind of vague for me. It just they did a Fast and Furious where they just can't remember their own timeline. Romulus kind of puts it back in perspective because it's in between Alien and Aliens. So I'm going to see it on digital. I'm going to see it on digital, but I'm not going to go out of my way to see it, to be honest with you. So, but did good, $108 million worldwide. So it's made its money back from production. So, hey, that's a positive. So there you go. Sorry. I didn't know. Are you an Alien fan at all, Joe? Yeah.
I love the first Predator. Don't mind the second one. And then Aliens was the first one I saw before I saw Alien. So Aliens, and then I like number 3 too. I quite enjoyed it.
You're one of the few that likes Alien 3.
I don't know why you don't like it. It's a really good movie in my opinion.
I don't hate on it the way others do, but to me it's there. It's just there. It's not the first 2 are the best, but that's just me.
I don't know what the transition is going on right now in movie making. I don't know what the next step is. I don't know when they're going to get back to just focusing on making good stories and having movie stars again. There isn't any movie stars anymore in the industry. I think that's a big part of the movie thing. We'll see if this lull goes away. Apparently, when you read up on history of the movie business, there was a few lulls in its time, and this might be that lull. I am happy that the Acolyte thing got canceled because I had friends of mine that were ready to go find Kathleen Kennedy and finally end things.
It's not, you know what, you guys can say why you don't like it. It just wasn't good. It just wasn't well written, and when it comes down to it, that's why I don't.
Well, I think the director or whatever that person was,
it just wasn't good. I
saw one picture of her, and I already knew who that was.
Well, it just wasn't good. So
she was more.
It doesn't matter who's leading the show, who the character.
It does matter, Gerald. Stop living in La La Land.
It does not matter.
It does matter. You know damn well why it didn't work.
It does not matter.
I'm not going to get into it, but you know damn well
it does not matter.
That director was more concerned. That director was more concerned pissing people off than making good movies.
Again, that's not the issue. The fact
she said it herself.
The product on the screen was bad. It just was very poorly written, poorly directed. And there you go. That's what people should.
It's more than that.
No, it's not more than that. It's not more than that.
There's a cancer culture.
No, it's not.
In this industry.
It's not.
It is.
It is not.
No, Denzel's a star. Denzel will always be a star.
It's not. Yeah, It's not. But anyways,
When
getting
you
back to
wake
the
up
getting
from
back.
this
No, I know.
fantasy
I've
that you're
already.
in, we'll
I
talk about it.
don't tell me. Don't tell me I need to wake
I
up.
just did.
No, because
Yes.
I've been covering pop culture for 8 years with the Pop Culture Gospels. Don't tell me what I already know. So there you go. I know why
We
people
need
are
what
so
you
mad
know.
about it. They don't need to be mad about it because of that. They need to be mad about it because it was a poorly made show. Period.
Stop putting morons in big positions. Much like the Lakers, this is what happens when you put more
Nobody watched
in
The
big
Acolyte. The
positions.
numbers were bad. It got canceled. It's a part of life. There you go. But anyways, getting back to our
Winning
show,
time was good. Why'd they cancel it?
because the numbers dropped dramatically from season 1 to season 2. Doesn't matter if season 2 is good. Season 2 is better than season 1. Doesn't matter. The
So
numbers
why weren't
dropped.
people watching it?
First of all, the promotion by Warner Brothers was terrible. Okay. They didn't advertise it until it was already on the air. Most people didn't know it was on until it was already on the air. They only worry about shows in its first run, and if they hit big, they'll support it. If it's anywhere in the middle or like teetering, they won't stay with it. They don't have the patience to stay with it. And season 2 was better than season 1.
Such a shame.
For me, I thought he was a little over the top, $7,000, but I do think
I love Jerry West more because of
John C. Reilly was incredible as Jerry Buss, Dr. Buss. He was absolutely fantastic.
I liked every character in that movie.
I'm glad you did. Jeremy says he didn't enjoy it at all, but Air with Affleck, who, yeah, man, this guy.
Yeah. Ben?
Yeah.
I don't know what that's doing. That guy has got problems.
Another Bennifer divorce, but yeah. Anyways,
stop getting married, morons.
It just wasn't good, Alan. It just wasn't good. That's why I'm not sitting here and defending The Acolyte at all. It was terrible.
They did it. I'm telling you guys.
It'll be on my worst of pop culture list.
It's Dark Fate for the Terminator. Totally destroyed the entire. And James Cameron should be blamed for this because he was a producer on that. They destroyed the premise of that story. The premise of a story that made an iconic franchise, and they ruined it in the first 5 minutes of that monstrosity of a movie. Everything in Star Wars, almost everything in the last 5, 6 years, 7 years, other than maybe Mandalorian, has been a hit piece on the original storyline.
And just Andor was really good. So
I've heard people talk about Andor and say it was not good.
That they don't know what they're talking about because Andor is good. So I'll leave it at that. But again, let's get back to the Lakers. The Lakers shows. Acolyte cost 100. That was a waste of 180 million. What's worse, the Acolyte or the Borderlands movie? Yeah, I have to see the Borderlands movie. Unfortunately, I do know it's really bad. So I'll let you know by the end of the year on that one. We'll see what happens there. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Joe, again, these shows are becoming more realistic about the Lakers because of the fact that they are not predicted to do very well this season. 44.5 wins coming out of Vegas. We talked about what George Karl said the other day, and you could hate on him all you want, and he can hate on the Lakers all he wants. But you and I have never said that the Lakers have a shot of winning a championship in their current format coming up this season. We've never talked about them at the top of the Western Conference. We've never talked about them in the mindset, if this happens, they can really be good this year. We're not trying to, throw out a bunch of stuff there that's not going to stick, that's going to come right back in our face. We're just being real. And right now, realistically, it does not look like the Lakers are doing what it takes to get themselves in a better position upcoming this season.
Well, the pundits in the summer of 2019, before the Lakers went on their championship run, there was predictions that the Lakers would make the playoffs, which was utterly ridiculous. I don't know how do you, whoever assessed that, and obviously knowing that Anthony Davis was coming, and you have to be careful of not being associated with those types. This show and our knowledge is likely larger and more credible than those shows, because a lot of those celebrity shows is what they are. They don't watch every Laker game. They don't dissect every Laker game. We do. We're a better source than they are. And I remember looking at the 2020 team before the season started, and I felt pretty darn good that they were going to be a competitor. And they were. They did everything that year that we would hope that they would do. I thought they were they did struggle beating the top end teams at the beginning, but at least they were competitive. And then eventually, towards the end of the year, before COVID broke, 4 or 5 months, they were beating the good teams, and then they continued to do that all the way to the championship. And I'm gonna do some. I have some time here next day or so. Finally, I'm gonna look at John Costa's show with whomever that guy was that was talking about the bubble championship.
Gary, I think. Yeah.
If I'm not hearing good things that show, I'm not hearing good things. If I hear stupid evidence on why he thinks the bubble championship wasn't legitimate, I'm gonna have to talk to Johnny, and we're gonna have to get him on there, and we're gonna have a talk.
Prepare to get yourself on the air with him, because
it's gonna happen.
It was nonsense.
Yeah, if it was nonsense, if it's truly nonsense, then it's not gonna be good, because if he wants to come on the show, he's gonna have to deal with the firing line, and I'm bringing the heat, because I want knowledge. Knowledge should be the only thing every day that you have to go after. You have to go after that knowledge, because no one can defeat you when you know what you're talking about. They can sit there and they can call you names, and they can say anything and everything they want. Oh, you're this, you're that. That's all opinion. That's all interpretation. But when you talk about what is, there's nothing they can go back really and mess with you. Because it is an opinion, right? It is an opinion. Hey, I don't count the bubble championship. It's my opinion. It's my feelings. Okay. Well, tell me what that's based off of. Because are we going to go back in 1999 and 2012 and the time when they didn't have 82 games in the 50s? Like, when does it end? Are we not going to give the Redskins the Super Bowl in 1982 when there was a strike and they only played like 9 games? Are we going to take away the Super Bowl for the Giants in 1987? This is life. Things come in. Business does certain things. Are we always going to put an asterisk on everything? Oh, well, LeBron in 2016, it wasn't for Kyrie hitting the last shot. Like, that's how bad it's gotten. Now this guy can't even win a championship like a normal human being without literally scoring every basket, and then he'll earn it, right? Oh, Kyrie made a last-second shot in Game 7. Oh, if it wasn't for that, LeBron would have lost. Oh, if Ray Allen hadn't hit that shot. Yeah, well, if my aunt had a dick, she'd be my uncle. Like, what's your point? That's basketball. That's how it works. You think Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, Hakeem, Magic, Larry, Wilt, Russell, Mikan, Jerry West, you don't think those guys got lucky sometimes in games? You don't think it's a 5-on-5 game, folks. You have a team. If you want to play one-on-one, arguably the greatest one-on-one player, and this is coming from Michael Jordan too, not just some Yahoo on a podcast. Kobe Bryant might have been the greatest one-on-one player that ever lived. And he said the only guy that could beat him would be Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant are the greatest individual players that have ever existed.
Just wanted to say, Darren, in regards to Gambit, aka Channing Tatum, spoilers for anyone out there who hasn't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, although it's now over $1.1 billion. So if you haven't seen it, probably already know some of the spoilers already. He had a deal lined up after, I think, Taylor Klitsch, aka John Carter. He was the original Gambit, but they didn't want him in it. They wanted Channing Tatum. So there was supposed to be a Gambit movie at some point in time over the last, I think, 2010s, the 20th Century Fox. They just never got out of production hell. So that's why he was in there in the Deadpool and Wolverine doing the Gambit shtick, because he was supposed to be Gambit in a movie, but it never came to fruition, as many things do, as Joe knows, as well as I do, about movies not coming to fruition, as far as things of that, behind the scenes. So Mahershala Ali Blade isn't going to happen, I think. Well, I mean, they've been promising him for a while. I think eventually they will get it done. I've
been hearing, what is it, the two directors have stepped down?
Yeah, the two directors have stepped down. They've changed several writers, but the fact that they've spent so much time and energy on it, and been promising it to the fans and to Mahershala Ali, who I think is an outstanding actor. I think if anybody could do Blade justice like Wesley Snipes did in the original Blade movie, whatever you think about number 2 and 3 is up to you. I think that number 1 is. I just think that it kind of lost its way halfway through the picture. I'll tell you that. Plus, there was too many people on screen, as far as too many characters taking away from the real story at the end heart. But number 3 was Snipes phoned it in. It was just Ryan Reynolds doing comedy for the entire thing. So we'll go ahead and Snipes, though, number 1, you can't beat that. Original Blade is awesome. But I will say that Mahershala Ali might give him a run for his money, but then again, we don't know. It may never come to fruition. You say that, no, you shake your head, no, but Mahershala Ali is an outstanding actor.
Wesley Snipes was the perfect storm. He's a martial artist. He was the character. He looked like the character. He had every bit of talent that could ooze out of that character. Ali is an actor. He's not a martial arts guy. I don't even know how the hell that's.
I don't know. You have to see it first. I've
been sort of following this. Plus, I've been hearing some scary storylines in that thing that I'm worried about. If they're
going to make it rated R, which is
if they turn Blade into some
PG-13,
13 kind of trash, then you can keep that character.
That's a different story altogether. It must be rated R. I don't think anybody would argue with you on that point. But getting back to the Lakers again,
I've also heard some other things, but I'm not going to say anything right now.
Well, of course,
I'll wait for my own show, so I don't have to hear you get all uncomfortable about it.
Well, I told you, start your own Patreon, man.
No,
I told you. See?
No.
You could say whatever you want.
No.
And get paid for it. I've told you
that. Well, please. We're going to talk Lakers. We'll go off on tangents. That's fine. I'm not a pop culture guy.
No, Michael B. Jordan, I don't think he'd be as good as Ali.
Michael B. Jordan is a comic relief guy who does movies.
Plus, he's already Killmonger. I think they're going to try and
I thought that State Farm thing on SNL was one of the best work he's ever done.
Yeah, there you go. I agree. All right, Jeremy says let's talk Lakers, so we'll finish it off with some Lakers talk. See, we get off on a tangent. You guys want us to talk about other things, and then you tell us to get back on Lakers. So there you go. Joe,
that's what they want.
Never knew Snipes was a martial artist. I think he did learn and actually knew already some martial arts before he went into Blade. But I want to go ahead and mention before we head on out again, the Lakers. It's just, I don't see the same batch of the Lakers can do it. the Lakers can go all the way. If this happens or if that happens, the Lakers can do it. I just don't hear that kind of resonating positivity from out there as far as from these shows. It's become more realistic. It's become more like us because the realization, I think they're setting themselves up so they don't look as stupid when the most likely inevitable happens, that the Lakers be in that mediocrity, the land of mediocrity, that purgatory that we fear that the Lakers have already fallen themselves into. It's just become to the point where, again, it's a realization of where this team is. And unless we make some drastic changes, Joe, it's just not going to get a whole lot better. Maybe the Lakers could sneak out a fifth or maybe if everything went right, a fourth place in the Western Conference, but they're not better than some of these teams that have got full 12 player, 10 player deep rosters, and the Lakers just can't match up. I mean, look at the rosters. You compare them to, let's say Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Dallas, Denver. Even with what they've lost in Denver, I'd still pick Denver's roster over the Lakers.
Well, media day
during the regular season per se.
Media day starts September 30th. That means we have 5 weeks, more than 5 weeks, until the beginning of the season really starts. Media day is supposed to be the first day the season's ready to go. Then you have training camp the next day. Then you have the schedule a few days after that.
Well, the LeBron mini camp is always earlier than that. They get together.
Yeah, sure. We can find things to talk about. We can dissect other options that JJ Redick could throw into the pot. I'd like to know what his ideas on using Max Christie and Connect and Rui and Reeves. And will he be able to put those 4 guys in the correct positions to enhance the talent? Notice I mentioned only 4 in that group versus the rest. Guys like Christian Wood, guys like Jackson Hayes. And I did throw Max Christie in there because we had to witness a player who has not played well get a raise.
What about a guy like Jared Vanderbilt?
No, I don't trust Jared Vanderbilt as far as I can eat this fake plant.
Okay, because we recently got an email
Jared Vanderbilt. I do not
that went after John for saying stuff about.
I do not trust Jared Vanderbilt. I do not trust Christian Wood. Jackson Hayes played better than I thought he would last year, but it's still not good enough.
It's terrible on defense.
He's terrible in almost everything that matters. And
he can roll to the basket.
He's useless in a playoff. There's nothing at that point that he can do. He's a regular season backup that can give you maybe 10 to 15 games out of the year that you're like, yes, he helped us. That's it. That's all he is.
Excuse me, not Mike Lindell. Did you say if you dish dirt on Trevor Lane, Mr. Cardboard himself, you get blocked? He is who he is. Credit him for creating Lakers Nation and being able to get it where it's at.
What?
Or popularity. But the guy is cardboard. The guy is about as entertaining
what
as.
Happened?
Oh, well, somebody in the chat, not Mike Lindell, said something about saying if you talk smack about, Trevor Lane, because he said Trevor, so I'm assuming it's Trevor Lane, you get blocked.
So if you go on in the chat and you talk smack, he deletes you. Is that what you're saying?
I guess according to him. So.
Yeah, I mean, we got a little.
I haven't made him a mod, so I don't know how
we got. I want the only ones we get rid of on this show, at least my view on it, is the morons who use racial slurs. Those guys need to all die. But if you're going to come at us, come at us. But you need to come at us with legitimate information. You can't just sit there and go, "You guys suck. You don't know what you're talking about." Okay, why? Why do we not? We did get messages of, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." When I hear that, that actually irritates me. Not in a deep, like in my heart insult. It's not an insult, and I'm not offended. It's nonsense, and I want you to learn something from this. You cannot tell someone that they don't know what they're talking about, whom study this thing. Are you going to go talk to a podiatrist and say you don't know anything about feet? And you're not a doctor in any way or a podiatrist? Like, what kind of a nerve? What nerve do you have to talk to someone who's specialized in a certain thing, or is someone who is entrenched in something that you're not, obviously, because you wouldn't say that. If you're watching all 89 games of the LA Lakers and then spending 2 hours every night after those games, sometimes more, 2 hours maybe even before, and then you sit there and you say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." Where the hell did you assess that in the brain? How did that happen? How did you come up with that in your brain? Or was it coming out of your heart without using your brain? The answer is yes. Because you can't tell us we don't know what we're talking about. Because the results also proved that we know what we're talking about. So we watched the damn thing, we analyze it, and then the results in the end proved we were right. And then you're sitting there going, "We don't know what we're talking about." How does that make any sense? You need to know that. We can't just go, "Oh, you don't agree with us. Let me delete you." How the hell is anyone going to learn how to talk to people when you delete them? Where's the dialogue at that point? And we've asked, and this was happening more at the beginning of my stay here. Remember you had those guys emailing you, "Oh, this Joe's a racist, and he's this, and he's that." I'm like, "Motherfucker, get on the show, and I want you to explain to me why I am that. Why? Because I denigrated LeBron James? Is that why? Oh, all of a sudden I'm a bigot because LeBron James has a habit of saying stupid shit and I call him out on it?" Come on. You got to come with info. You got to come with knowledge. Come with knowledge. "Joe, you are wrong. And this is why." If you're right, if you have information that I don't know, then I'm going to go, "Oh, I didn't know that." There's a fine line in this. It's opinion with some backing. Because at the end, I can't argue against Joe. My opinion is they're gonna be good this year. Okay. I'm not gonna get mad at you for thinking that. That's not the part. I'm not gonna have we people who are positive about the season, are we sitting here destroying them? No. I'd like to know
Juan, for
why.
instance, when he comes on, he is the most positive about the Lakers, thinking that they're going to win a title. I say more power to him. We congratulate him for his positivity. We wish we could be that optimistic, but we look and see a different story. But we respect his opinion, Joe.
I've watched players play horrible games, football, basketball, all that. And I mean, I go off. What happened? This, that. You get emotional. But there's one thing I will never do, no matter how bad a player plays. I'm not going to go to his house and throw trash in his yard. There's a line, right? Everything has a line. You have an opinion, you want to go support certain people. Yeah, I might say some things that on the contrary, but I'm not going to go to your house and harass you and cancel you and tell everybody, "Oh my God, this person does this." So my answer to that is we are in a position right now as observers. We are obligated to tell an audience that likes what we say and tell them what is going on. and in an entertainment way too. And the entertainment part matters. That's a big part of it. If we're wrong, here's how we can be wrong. Here's where we'll be wrong. We'll be wrong if J.J. Redick has a system that puts players in a position that we didn't expect them to put them in. The other thing is, reality-wise, can this guy convince LeBron James to not loaf it? Because that's going to play a big part. Can he make Anthony Davis an MVP candidate? A real MVP candidate? Because he's never really been an MVP candidate. I have never, even when he was really good in 16, 17, and 20, I never really felt like he had any chance of winning an MVP. And that's because Anthony Davis plays like Anthony Davis's capability only 2 out of the 4 games a week. He doesn't do it 4 times a week. You have to be every game, all year, the same player. And Anthony Davis doesn't seem to do that, even when he's healthy.
That's going to be the question, Alfred. And by the way, let me know, man, your schedule. I know you've been traveling from one side of over to the next, over to this side of the hemisphere, and I'm really rooting for you, my friend, in your new college and vocation. So truly appreciate any time you can stop by the show. Hit me up, man. You know where to find me, but got to get you back on the show because everybody loves your opinion. But DK, Rookie of the Year, you know what? I'm not worried about Rookie of the Year for Dalton Connect. I mean, he obviously statistically he does have a chance if he is a part of the rotation early and often, and then gets gradually better as time goes on. I just wanted to make a positive contribution. I really think he can. I know that Rodell keeps calling us out because we prefer him and what his career trajectory may be over what we think some others are, i.e. Max Christie. But that's just the way we see things. We get called out for it and we're told this and that. You know what? I just want the Lakers to win. If it is Max Christie or if it is Dalton Connect, ultimately, whatever gets the Lakers to another championship, that's what we should all care about the most. Not sitting here and nitpicking over whether or not you guys are wrong or right or anything of that nature, Joe. It's just because it gets really mean. The stuff that we get emailed to us really gets a little bit underhanded at times. And you guys, and you and Jamie on the other day when I was sick talked about it, about how Rodell's comments were really hit below the belt. And he lost a lot of credibility with all of us in doing so. And I think the words you said there lost a lot of credibility.
Well, yeah, because you called us bigots.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely uncalled for.
So when John Costa says the same things that we do, Joe, what does that make him?
And I've heard, look, this is not the first time I've said that. And I want to make sure that everyone, when you bring up ethnicity, when you bring up culture into a sports discussion as your reason, and it's not, you're a clown. You're a clown. You have no basis to say that. That's a stupid comment. I shouldn't say you don't have. You can say whatever you want. It's a free country. But I also have the response of how stupid that comment was. It's not an insult. I'm not insulted. I don't feel sad. I don't really care about those things. But you need to be called out for being a liar. You're a liar. Saying that we're easy on a certain person. I go, have you seen what we've done to Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss? I have thought about what I've done in the future. I have all but killed any chance of ever really being close to my favorite team in the future. Because I do plan on being in a position where I'll probably be around those surroundings. But I've destroyed it. I've destroyed it because when you don't do your job right, you need to be called out. If I'm not doing well, I expect people around me to tell me, Joe, you're sucking right now. You ain't doing this right. I don't want yes men. I hate yes men. I want the truth. What are we doing wrong? What's going on? Why is this not working? I hate weak people, especially when they have every resource to not be weak. It's one thing to be broke, coming from a broken home. You were a foster kid. You've always had disadvantages. And then all of a sudden you look on the other side and you see every one of these a-holes has had an advantage and they still suck. It's a wasted talent situation. I want to know why. And if you're not going to tell me why, you should leave and find someone that will. But yeah, going back to Rodell, absolutely pathetic for him to comment in that way. And that's on him. I
was disappointed. I was truly disappointed that he would utilize that as an excuse, especially not understanding the fact that all of us on the show, all the panelists on the show of any ethnic background have never spoke positively about Max Christie, about him being a player that can significantly help the Lakers. None of us have talked about him in that fashion. Maybe Laker Tom, but even I think Laker Tom has kind of tempered his enthusiasm as well. It was just disappointing, man. It's just like, man, you really went there. You really went there. It's 2024 and you really went there.
Well, it's the coward way to go, folks. We have enabled a culture. We've enabled a culture for a while now to allow people who don't get what they want to say lies, and then they get what they want. You ain't getting it here, folks. You're not going to ever scare me in that department because I do have the receipts there too. And I'm not going to explain myself either. You go do that work. Don't ever call me a bigot and it's a lie. Because now you're starting to insult the integrity of the show.
But $7,000, I just want to say this. Okay, they signed him to, it's not a huge expensive deal in the NBA scheme of things, as far as 4 years, $32 million. But the problem is you've got the guy in Rob Pelinka who's already managed to bungle last year. Remember, they could have traded away one of their minimum contracts, which would have freed up a space on the roster for someone else this year, but they didn't do that, like a Christian Wood or someone else. That would have gotten Jeannie I think, $11 million bonus or somewhere in and around there, double-digit million bonus. Would have gotten her that for being under the tax. Not only did he manage to bungle that for a team that obviously we saw how far they got, and it would just trading away a minimum player wouldn't have done a whole lot to the whole scheme of things one way or the other. Second thing is, when you sign all the players that they did, or you signed the rookies, you signed Bronny to his guaranteed contract, you signed Dalton to his guaranteed contract, and then you signed Max Christie, you managed to go ahead and bungle it because you went to LeBron, you signed him for something LeBron, what was it, 103, and then you had to go, or 104, and then you had to go ahead and say, hey, LeBron, I kind of messed up on my numbers. I need you to go ahead and sign for a little bit less. Now, mind you, he'll go ahead and opt out next summer and decide if he wants to play again and do another 2-year contract, 1+1. But still, just the fact that you don't have your calculator getting the right numbers, Joe, it just shows you how bad we are right now with Rob Pelinka at the helm.
For the new people, I know that they haven't heard it, but they can go back on some of the shows. And I'm not going to keep harping on how pathetic Rob Pelinka is. I don't mind throwing it in specific discussions.
Now, are we bad people because we're criticizing his
I don't
performance?
care if we're bad people. Yeah, for them. If Rob and Jeannie heard what we've called them, I've called them clowns. I've called them they should go run a circus. Absolutely. Those guys will never let us in their little circles ever when they find out what we've said. And I couldn't give two shits. I don't want to be around those people. I don't want to be. I don't care what it is. I love the Lakers. I love the Lakers because Dr. Buss is even in his grave, he is still the identifier for the Lakers. Magic is still the identifier. Kobe, God rest his soul, still the identifier. Shaq, Worthy, AC Green, Byron Scotts, Michael Thompsons, those guys are still right here. And if some nobody like me can affect them, which that's just how people are these days, and they blame the younger generation. No, folks, the adults, the 50 and 60-year-olds have acted just as bad as any 20 or 30-year-old at this point. They're all just as obnoxious and immature because they're all mind slaves. They're mind slaves to the culture. I don't mind change. I don't mind adapting to technology. I don't mind those things. But fundamentals should never change. A grown man has things in his DNA that he should always do. And one of those things that he shouldn't do is definitely get hurt or have words hurt him. I'll get on you pretty bad on that one. As far as the getting hurt on the comment from, let's Rodell, I'm not hurt. I'm not insulted. I'm not offended. It's just a stupid ass comment. And for the show to have to talk about it is an embarrassment.
Alan, yeah, I agree. As a first round pick, he should be projected to be better than a second round pick, even if you spent millions of dollars to move up in the second round just to draft Max Christie. Connect as a first round pick, which many analysts thought would go higher in the draft, should end up having a better career than what Max Christie will be. We're basing it off of what we've seen so far as well. He's looked good in Summer League, but again, it needs to translate into games going forward. Max Christie looked good in Summer League last year, and basically he blew it. He was terrible in the exhibition season, which Rodell seems to not want to acknowledge under any circumstances, even when I pointed it out to him in writing. And he's just denying the fact that Max Christie blew every opportunity that he had that was given to him last year. He played in over 60 games, Joe. 60 opportunities for him to go ahead and prove himself to be a regular part of the rotation and just didn't do it. So you reward him with a $32 million contract. Good for him. But we still, that doesn't change our minds as far as who we think might end up being a better option for this team long term, Joe.
So the word is he didn't get enough of an opportunity because apparently Birmingham didn't like him. He only averaged 14 minutes a game. So let's extrapolate the numbers. We haven't gone into details with Max Christie, so I think this is a good time to do that. Mm-hmm. Let's say, would you say that if you double his minutes, which would be 28 minutes, that is a really good number for a role player, right? Mm-hmm. 28 minutes is actually pretty good. 30 minutes for anybody that's probably a solid starter, right? Mm-hmm. So he's just under that. He's at 28.2. Working the algebra on this, if he had doubled his minutes, he would have averaged 8.4 points a game.
Yeah, but as I pointed out to Rodell, I said, look, he had what? How many games? How many exhibition games was there? 6, 7.
Let's focus on the numbers.
Let me just finish. Let me just finish. He had over 100 minutes of opportunity in the exhibition season to get himself in a position to start off the season as part of the regular rotation. And he played awful in those exhibition games. That's really set the tone for his season going forward. He got a start here and there. He played well in Cleveland, but didn't follow up on it. He played well in a few minutes in the New York game and didn't follow up on it. You see, every time Rodell said, oh, well, he played well in this game. Yeah, but look at the games after. He was given opportunities and just couldn't continuously get it done. And that's the problem. You need reliable people coming off the bench.
You have a league where the guards have been the greatest assets in the sport, which is the scoring guard and the point guard, which are now more of a hybrid. They call Steph Curry a point guard, which I think is incorrect. He plays more off the ball, and he's the epitome of a shooting guard. He's the greatest shooter that's ever played in the NBA. He's not a point guard. He is a shooting guard. So Max Christie is a shooting guard who hits at a 42% clip. That's not going to cut it. And this is with 67 games. He played 67 games. That's a good amount these days. That's a good number for a guy that's playing in the NBA, coming off the bench, whatever. But again, if we had doubled his minutes, he's likely to score 8 points. What the hell does that do? That's going to warrant an $8 million a year price. $8 million for a guy who practically failed for an entire season. All season, other than maybe a couple games.
See, Juan's back. Welcome back, Juan.
And let's compare that. Let's compare that salary to someone like. So Alex Caruso makes $9.8 million. And what has Alex Caruso produced in the last 2 seasons? A first-team All-NBA selection and a second-team All-NBA selection. And you paid just a little bit below that to some guy who there's a better chance of me playing quarterback for the New England Patriots than him ever touching a Defensive Player of the Year or Defensive Player, first team or second or third. What's not fair?
Fair for what?
Alan's saying, Joe, that's not fair. I'm not going into the analytics of this. I'm not going to go one IV, what value, all that stuff. Yeah, they refused to pay it because they put their money in THT. It was a bad call. I think Curry has a better handle than AI.
I think he's a better finisher. He's a very underrated, or at least at his peak, he was a very underrated finisher.
I don't think I ever remembered someone as small as AI getting to the basket and finishing as well as he did. No one finished better than AI at the basket in his prime.
Curry, I think Curry is very underrated there.
Curry's not really a guy that goes to the hole a lot. He's
he would. All right. I don't agree with you there, but
it has nothing to do with whether you agree. That's how it is.
No, I disagree with you because it isn't how it is.
You're not disagreeing with me.
I am disagreeing with you.
Now you're being Rodell.
I'm not being Rodell. I'm telling you the truth.
When does Steph Curry go to the basket unless it's wide open? When?
All right, I'll throw out the statistics at you and we'll see. Juan says, hey, Gerald and Joe, I have a question, both of you. Do you believe this team that this is our year? No.
No, it's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
It's not our year by a lot.
I don't think it's as bad as George Karl says it's going to be one if you cover our Monday episode, but the 44.5 wins picked by Vegas, I think, is very close to what this current roster is going to be one. And I think you've heard us say this before already on several occasions.
No,
is Max Christie better than Prince? Oh, that's a good question.
Not right now, no. At least Prince shot 40% from the 3-point line. If Christie was able to do that, maybe things would have changed. I don't know. We're gonna find out here in the next year or so.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, Curry's 6'3". Is Curry 6'3"?
He's listed as 6'3", yes.
I don't know. I'd have to see that one. I'd have to stand next to him. I'm 6'3". Well, technically 6'2". With shoes, I'm 6'3".
Okay. I think you're taller, personally, because I'm supposed to be 6'2", and you seem taller than me, but okay.
Hey, Gerald, is that true? Lakers will try to get Curry. No one. I don't believe that's. I believe that's just boredom.
That's just everybody at the Olympics feeling good. They played well with each other, and they had that opportunity at the trade deadline last season one. And if they didn't get it done then, they're not going to get it done now or in the future. I think that ship has sailed. As soon as LeBron said no, he didn't want to go up to Golden State, I think that ship has already sailed. So, Alan, you're so funny.
I'm not just tall. I'm wide too.
He is. I've seen Joe in person. He's a big guy. Bulls won the Giddy trade versus Alex trade. We'll see. Xbox again. He's got to play the way that he did in FIBA. If he does, if you get that one, if you get that guy, then there you go. I'll agree with you, Xbox. But he has got to play that way. He's got to shoot better and at least play average defense, just like Dalton Connect. We talked about Dalton Connect, Joe. Even if he plays average defense, I think that's a win for the Lakers. I think that's a win for the Bulls if he plays average.
I don't want there to be too much expectations for a rookie. It's not gonna.
Oh, when you got a team that's this mediocre, Joe, and you got so many players that have disappointed us, people are looking for hope on these other shows. They're looking for something that they can latch on to. Dalton Connect is, in many cases, for a lot of people, that guy.
Oh, Laker Nation, please don't do this. Let him develop. For the love of God, please.
Again, that the Lakers fans.
I think Connect's a better shooter than Jamie. I think Jamie's a better all-around player at this point.
Jaime? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jaime.
A Triple J, I think it's going to be pretty good. He's going to be a pretty darn good rotation player. I don't think he'll be a star, but yeah, I think he'll be someone that can, obviously play very well in this league.
Best under the rim finisher, Kyrie or Rod Strickland? Ooh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. I don't know. I don't know. Rod Strickland was, if Rod Strickland didn't have a pepper up his ass in his career, he would have been a Hall of Famer. I seriously, that's a great question, Darren. I don't know. That's a tie if I ever saw one. Kyrie's still a better player, but to the rim, Rod Strickland was built like a god too for his size. He had the perfect physique, especially in the 90s.
Again, it just
it's it's funny you said that, Mark. The greatest. There's two guys at the rim. It's LeBron and Michael. If you're talking point guards, okay, separation. But as far as the two best, well, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. The greatest finisher at the rim is Shaquille O'Neal. And I'll tell you why. I saw Shaquille O'Neal dunk over 3 grown-ass men. I'm talking 6'10" power forwards and centers and make them look like they were just children. That's the greatest finisher at the rim. Shaq. Overall. Then you go, if you want to go perimeter players, yeah, Michael Jordan and LeBron James. No one. Gabe needs to be the backup point guard, which, unless he finds a shot, is not going to be good. Gabe desperately needs to have a shot coming into the season.
Well, he's too small to be a small forward. He's 6'2", if I'm not mistaken. Gabe Vincent, look up his height. I think it's 6'2", if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 6'2".
Oh, and stay healthy, please.
Yeah, that would be the first thing. Stay healthy. He has had an inconsistent shot throughout his career. He does play hard-nosed defense, but again, he has to be healthy first up to see what we have, Juan. But he's a backup point guard at best on this team. And I don't think if you're starting him, you've got a lot of issues because he just is not able to do what you need a starting player to do. And we'll leave it at that. Hopefully he can get one of those heaters early that he's known for and go on one of those hot streaks and be good right off the bat for the Lakers. And hopefully, that will be the case and everybody can start to forget about what happened with his last season. But him and Jared Vanderbilt are keys to the season of any type of competence for the Lakers. And that's a lot to ride on for two guys that didn't give you anything last season.
Again, going back to the Rod Strickland comment, Rod Strickland's best season was in 1998. Yeah, he won the assist title that year. And I if I remember correctly, I think John Stockton had won it almost every year for a decade up until then. I'd have to look back on that. Rod was listed at 6'3". He's probably closer to 6'1". Most of these guys are exaggerated in height, but at the same time, you can count the shoes because they're wearing shoes on the court. I would count that height as the real height because that's the height they're playing at when they're wearing shoes. So if they're 6'1" and then he wears 2-inch, if he goes up, usually tennis shoes don't go 2. It's usually just 1 inch. He sits at 6'2" with shoes. You can say he's listed at 6'3" too, because no one's going to really, you factor in the hair too. If their hair is a little higher, yeah, then if you put a tape measure to it, it'll look like they're taller. Max Christie or Ben Simmons? Oh man, hey, you guys are dropping some great questions. I'm gonna be 100% on this. I'd rather have Max Christie.
I'd rather have Ben Simmons because that's $40 million coming off your books next season.
Okay, from an economical standpoint, sure. But that's not realistic on this team.
Well, there's no way Brooklyn is going to give up now. They've been stuck with him, and they're going to wait until all that $40 million comes off.
Ben Simmons is the genie bus of the NBA. Mm-hmm. Complete and utter incompetence. And I wouldn't want that guy anywhere near my team. That guy's a disease. That guy's a disease to professionalism.
By the way, I just wanted to let you know, this is old. This is dated. This is 4 years old. But this list on Reddit gives you an idea of some of the best finishers at the rim for guards. That was compiled. And it does have Stephen Curry in the top, but 6 right there. And Allen Iverson is like about 19th, 20th, I think, on that list, just to let you know.
As far as point guards?
No, for guards, period, that were in the best finishers at the rim.
Allen is at 19?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 24, 21st. He was a career 54. He was a career 55% shooter at the rim, or inside the restricted area, I should say. And Stephen Curry was a career 63%. But that's as of 4 years ago. So I know it's not the same now because he's gotten older and et cetera, et cetera. So just letting you know.
Yeah. I get a lot of, we talked about Kobe Bryant's 2000 run from 2000 to 2009. When you factor in the competition, the activities going on during that time, and the fact that he did what he did, you have to, when you put your little formula together, competition matters. It matters.
Mm-hmm.
And whom he beat in that time matters. Kobe really never, his prime. What years would you say it was? 2003 to 2008?
Yeah, because 2009 you started to see just a little.
Right. So any boxer, I used to use this comparison to boxers. Boxers have a 3, if they're lucky, a 5-year prime because the damage is just too much. 5. Basketball players, they have a prime, and then they have a prime. You could say Kobe was still in his prime in 09 and 10. He was in his prime in 01, 02. You could say he was in his prime at that point. He was winning championships and was a first-team All-NBA player and defensive player. But in 03 to 2008, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6 years. You never really got a chance to see Kobe like at the peak of the team being on top and him being on top at the same time. He never had it. It's just the way the cards played out for his career because he came to the NBA as the first perimeter player ever to come out to the NBA from high school. And then the geezers like Del Harris and all the, Phil Jackson also included in that, didn't believe that any player should be coming out that early. So Kobe really didn't play a lot his first couple of years. And then, of course, there's the lockout season of 99. He didn't play his first full 82-game season as a starter until his 4th season. And that coincidentally was the year they won the championship. And Phil Jackson had a lot to do with it too. Shaq had playing out of his mind. But that's Kobe was behind the first 3 years in his career. Whereas LeBron, MJ, those guys were first options out the gate. They were able to kind of control that.
Juan, man, normally I have a lot of respect for what you're saying, but the Ben Simmons, that you want Ben Simmons on this team. First of all, Brooklyn is not trading him because, again, $40 million comes off the books at the end of the season. They've dealt with him. They've been, he has played, get this, Joe, in 3 seasons, he has played 57 games, averaged 6.5 points, and shooting 40% at the free throw line. Whatever you say about his defense that he used to be able to play with, and since his back injury, he's not been the same defensively. Whatever you say about his rebounding or assists, playmaking, et cetera, 6.5 points, 40% free throw shooting. And we talked about Dennis Rodman, how he was a certain liability scoring the basketball. And it's just, again, in today's age where they actually scheme against people like that, Jared Vanderbilt is case in point. Teams were scheming against him in the playoffs and basically making him irrelevant. Don't you think they would do that to Ben Simmons at this point in time? It's just, again, he's not the player that he once was, and he may never be again. Take it from someone who's had back injuries. It is debilitating, and it's just a fact of life. I mean, we'll see this season. It's his final season playing in Brooklyn, but we don't even know if he's going to play because, again, he's only played 57 games in 3 seasons. That's an average of 20 games per season, Joe.
Juan, we're going to discuss the schedule probably beginning of September.
Mm-hmm.
There was, I usually like to talk about the schedule, much like when you're playing fantasy football. I don't like doing the draft until the last preseason game is done. Now, most transactions don't really happen in September. It's usually going to happen in August. But if the Lakers were going to do something, which they're not likely, but let's say if you want to wait until the roster is official, and usually when September hits, that that's likely not going to have any movement after that. Once that happens, then we can dissect the schedule. Last year, I remember that was some of the best shows that we did, which was the schedule, because we were able to pinpoint all the advantages that they had later in the year, where they didn't leave the West Coast time zone and things like that. Those things are going to matter more so now than I think even last year, because LeBron's a year older, AD's a year older. You have a rookie head coach who's never coached, not even as an assistant. There's going to be growing pains at the beginning of the year. And I'm not going to jump on the negativity. The negativity, I have them putting those as quotes for the people listening on Apple Radio. I'm not going to go off the first month. No, I'm sorry, 2 weeks, not month. But we go into December, and this team is 10-18. You are then going to get the Thunder.
So the first 5 games, the first 3 are at home. You got the Timberwolves, the Suns, and the Kings, all predicted to be higher than the Lakers this season. I know Joe said he's kind of down on the Suns, and boy, after the news today that they waived 2 players, including Nasir Little, and stretched, get this, Joe, for a team that's already in the second tax apron, they stretched Nasir Little 3 years and $22 million. That's a lot of money if you want to stretch that. Okay, whatever. But, that's a team that's probably worse at handling their money than the Lakers. And I didn't think that was possible. But you got those 3 games at home. And then the 4th game, the Lakers are on the road against the Suns. And then on the 30th of October, they're at Cleveland, another team that's picked to be pretty good in the Eastern Conference. I mean, it all depends on when they get to.
If they start 5-0, we're in for an interesting treat.
Yeah, absolutely. Because right after that, they get Toronto, who's not thought of very highly, and Detroit. So they could easily end up 7-0 if that's the case. But I don't know. Those are 3 good teams that they play before then, and not to mention Cleveland. So it's so funny because we get a guy that's just new here, like not Mike Lindell, who's just saying, Joe, lighten up, Joe this, Joe that. And it's like, okay, you haven't watched the last 200 shows. I think you should before you make those comments, just because you won't learn. You won't learn because Joe.
I'm not sure if he maybe just said that because I predicted a 74-8 record.
No, it's just because you're being you, and he's new.
Yeah, folks, I don't lighten up.
He's Joe.
I don't lighten up. I don't. This isn't just a show. I don't say those things just on a show or at work. This is for anyone in my life. When someone comes up and he says, you need to relax. No, I'm not relaxing. I relax most of the day.
There's always an acclimation period to Joe.
Yes, I got more. I'm born for the action. And when I feel like it's action time, it's coming. I'm not gonna wear out. So it'll lighten up.
Alan's forgot it perfect. Asking Joe to lighten up is like bathing a cat.
Yeah,
It's
no,
hard. That's hard. I had to do that one time.
I
I
don't
had a
lighten
cat
up.
for a few years.
I like how I am. I like how I do things. I really.
Before we edit out, let's just get last one. Juan's. Let's talk about Christian Wood. I think he will have a great season.
Juan, that's the first flub. Christian Wood will not have a good season this year.
The Ben Simmons ones, I think, was the worst.
Simmons, but Ben Simmons is not a Laker. I don't care.
Can you at least say that Christian Wood will have an opportunity to get some time off the bench?
Yeah.
Considering the fact that there's not a lot of options.
Christian Wood does not have the attention span to play professional basketball game in, game out, night in and night out for an entire season. He is unfocused too many times.
This is his last chance to really get a decent contract in free agency next summer.
If he wants a contract, he would have to play. He would have to be the 6th best player on the Lakers this year.
Okay.
If he's the 6th best player on this team, then he will play himself into a contract next year. And that actually helps the Lakers. That means you have a backup big that actually is contributing and helping AD with the stresses of all the responsibilities. No, Mike, I know you're not mad.
No, we're not.
It's just something that we're being clear on. When you say lighten up, I'm more telling you I don't lighten up. It's not, oh my God, I'm never gonna lighten up. Don't ever say that again. No, trust me. Believe me, you're gonna know. If you watch the show long enough, you'll know how the personality works. I don't lighten up. When I start, I'm gonna drive to my destination. Alan likes those comparisons and those analogies. So.
Xbox, you're so funny, man. If it was
me, I was trying to get away. Mark, I was trying to get through a show without mentioning him. You guys just ruined it.
You know what? Just first game against Minnesota, second quarter, put him in there for 15 seconds with LeBron, get the whatever good feels, as Joe would say, first father and son to play together, then send him to South Bay Lakers for the rest of the season to develop.
I'd like the part where you said send him south, and then you should have stopped right there.
For the rest of the season, I said.
Send him with the geese.
Send him with the geese. Okay. Juan says 15.5 points a game, 7, 8, almost 8 rebounds a game for Christian Wood.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, Juan. Sorry.
Everybody forget. It's so funny. It's like the 5th person that said, I forgot we have Bronny. You'll be reminded of it soon enough by all the media. And Joe will get very mad, very aggravated, and very sick of it, as will I, right away.
I'm already sick of it because it's not about winning. It's about...
Well, let's say Curry is on these Lakers instead of D'Angelo Russell. That's what $7 grand. We'll close it out with that. I don't think it still makes them a championship team, 7. I don't think it makes them a championship team. The team has too many holes.
You know, LeBron won the MVP, which I didn't know the Olympics had MVPs now. Apparently, there's an MVP.
The last 2 they've had.
Apparently, these sporting organizations just can't stop creating more and more useless awards. LeBron played better than any player on this Olympic team throughout the entire run. Steph Curry had 2 amazing games. That's it. Before that, he was ass. So to say that he should have won MVP is only adding to your non-watching ignorance. Watch the damn games, folks. Then come talk to us. And I'm not really speaking to the crowd here, except for maybe a few. I'm talking to everyone. Watch the freaking games and then talk. If you're going off box scores and YouTube videos, you're a moron. Just like the discussion of best player of all time. If you were born in 1999, shut up. Just shut up. You have no area to discuss anything when it comes to Michael Jordan versus whoever. You didn't see Michael Jordan play. You have to watch those guys play live. It's easy to look at highlights and determine shit. I'm talking about live. You don't know the results. What's the feeling? Who's reacting to that environment? That makes a difference.
Juan, now you're just reaching.
Juan, what are you doing over here? Wiggins
Andrew Wiggins, did you not understand? Did you follow the game in Golden State last year as far as how bad he was? And the fact is that, okay, let me get you his contract. His contract for this upcoming season, Joe, $26 million. Next year after that, $28 million. Next year after that, $30 million. And with Jonathan Kuminga there, he is not going to get any better anytime soon. And yeah, the Wiggins of the finals, that guy is gone. Hopefully he'll come back. But yeah, the guy is gone. Do you really want to take your chances on that, Juan? Man, please, Juan. We said such good things about you, respectful things about you earlier in the show before you came on. Don't let us down like this with all this crazy talk, man. Come on.
Bring it. We're just gonna comment on it.
Yeah, come on, Juan. Want to believe in you, my friend, like you believe in the Lakers. So there you go. But that being the case, it's been a great time. Again, we do, according to YouTube, because they were asking me to start up memberships. So we do have a membership plan. Started up at $2.99 a month. Gives you access to a whole bunch of emojis, badges, and also you get a shout out from me at the beginning of every show, just like, of course, Xbox. Thank you, Mark, for being our first member on our membership program. Truly appreciate it. Appreciate the big shout outs and also the super chats from, of course, two on our plate today. So we just truly appreciate Darren, and also as well, I want to say Sports Baby. Yeah, Darren and Sports Baby. Thank you so much for the super chats. It is immensely and greatly appreciated. So, Joe, any last thoughts before we head on out, my friend?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Well, I plan to come back and do a show on Friday. Legend and I are tentatively scheduled. I'll see if I can get Alfred on too, and maybe Joe be able to hang out, although it'll be earlier. So Joe's going to be sin blading. So I know he's going to be busy, but he might be doing it from the road if that's the case. But yeah, absolutely looking forward to talking about the NBA, and we'll talk about that on Friday. I know John Costa said he's going to be here tomorrow in the slot on his great channels, which we're on right now as well. So big shout out to Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner if you're watching us there.
I'm going to have to talk to John about his guests.
He's going to be here tomorrow, my friend.
I'm going to talk to him about whatever that guest was talking about the bubble championship. It's not going to look. I don't know what happened on this show, but ooh, yeah.
You stay positive, Juan. You stay positive, but just the acquisitions you're asking to make, those are some. Yeah, those are.
It's almost midnight here,
so,
and that means party time.
Party time indeed. But if you have any questions for us, please leave it in comments below. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Become a member if you want. Absolutely. Would be greatly appreciated. But cannot thank you enough for stopping by to hear Joe and I. We thought we'd come back at you a little bit more frequently. Try again for a show on Friday. Don't know about the Lakerholics yet. Hopefully I'll know by Friday. But again, we will see John Costa tomorrow, he says. Looking forward to hearing what he has to say. And if Joe can get him to get his neighbor, it was his neighbor, by the way, Joe. That's how he got a hold of him. So maybe we'll get that lined up for you again. So.
Whose neighbor?
It was John's neighbor. That's how
he brought his neighbor and talking about the bubble championship being a joke.
Well, remember, John lives in Northern California, so it's Laker Tom lives in Northern California.
Oh God.
Laker fans are all over, my friend, even here in Vegas. So.
Northern California.
And on that note, it's the Lakers Fast Break. Thanks again. Appreciate you joining us. We'll be back at you tomorrow with John Costa, and on Friday, looking forward to doing a show. I will try to see if I can get more Pop Culture Cosmos shows on YouTube, but they are always happening on audio. So, Mark, I put them out there. TJ has got a lot to say, and hopefully I'll be able to put that out there on audio. But I'll see if I can get more video up there for you on Pop Culture Cosmos 2. Inside Sports is coming up tomorrow as well. Joe, hopefully you'll join us tomorrow night because
absolutely not.
Yeah. Well, see, there you go. I'll throw the invite your way.
I will never be on that show.
You have been, though.
Tomorrow.
Okay. We'll see. Once again, it is, of course, Joe Soro and me, Joe Glassford. Thanks again for watching and listening. Truly appreciate it. We'll be back for more pain later this week. Of course, more great stuff for you right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.